I think the GT3 RS wouldn't get anywhere close to this. I mean, in the end, it won't, because it just doesn't have the power.
Right.
So we got all the aero, and we got all the, and we got power on top.
So this is currently your only GTD.
Well, we have lots of running
test
prototypes, but
right?
You can't see it like this. They're all camouflaged.
Sure.
But I mean, this represents. So we now have sort of production intent prototype cars running around with all the right hardware in them, but they're all camoed up and so. But this is exactly what they look like under all that camouflage.
It's so wild.
It's got all those design connections in a big way, which are mostly based around performance, like the rear wing with a flap. This whole way we're mounting it, because the structure up here is in the racing car, from about here back, there's, other than safety stuff, there's no structure, because you don't need all of the road car stuff. So back here, there's no place to sort of run a gooseneck down.
Right, I see.
You'd have to go like way to the bottom.
Into it.
But in the race car, and then in this car, this is a really structurally intense part of the car. The roof's meeting the main structure, and so we chose to mount it here. And when you look at the GT3 car, that's where it's mounted. And you're only allowed, in GT3 these days, you're only allowed one adjustable aerodynamic element. So you can have it at the front, or you can have it at the back. But what you're trying to control the center of pressure, and we chose, and most guys choose, most companies choose to make an adjustable flap.
Right.
So the main plane is fixed.
Okay.
And like right now, we're running 7 degrees of flap angle. We don't need it for downforce, but they're actually slowing us down with it. This flap is what we call a DRS. It has 2 positions. And so it has a drag reduction system. So it has high downforce. You're looking at it in the high downforce, and that's balanced by some flaps underneath. So the center of pressure is where we want it, but it reduces the top speed to somewhere in around 180, 185. And everybody wants the 2 in front of the top speed of any kind of car like this. When DRS is activated, you get your 200 plus.
Wow. So this is a 5.2.
Yep.
Liter supercharged.
This is a hot rodded version of the motor that's in the GT500.
Okay.
But with a lot, it's being heavily reworked. So the oil pan has been removed, and there's a separate oil tank, very trick oil tank.
Okay.
And then we turned the wick up to 8. They're always very conservative. We'll say the advertised number, 800. And the other thing that connects to that powertrain is the fact that we don't have a transmission. Like every Mustang, including the GT500, has a transmission behind the engine. Conventional rear-wheel drive setup.
Yes.
And the GT500 has a really trick one. It's a DCT, dual clutch transmission, paddle shift. But the weight on the nose of the GT500 is pretty high. So we got rid of that gearbox.
Okay.
And we got a transaxle in the back, like the race car does. Race car has a transaxle.
So it's a transaxle twin clutch.
It's a DCT twin clutch
transaxle.
Yeah, transaxle from Tremec. They make the gearbox version of this, but Tremec also make the DCT transaxles in all the Corvettes, and it's 1,000 Newton meter capable.
Wow.
And we grabbed that. We have that transaxle in the back of this car, and then that opened up a bunch of space here, and the dry sump tank for holding the oil when it's not in the engine. We developed an oil tank that's like a donut that goes around the shaft coming out the back of the engine, and it bolts up to the back of the engine and looks like a little miniature gearbox, but it's not a miniature gearbox, it's full of oil. Like it's got the main pump, pressure pump in there, it's got scavenging, and the engine has so the windage losses in the engine are all reduced because there's not oil flailing around there. It gets all put back in this tank, gets de-aerated in this tank, and then gets pulled back into the engine and does that loop. Then behind that, we have a little extension that we call the REMS. This little extension goes on the back of that, and it has a shaft inside it that comes out right at the location of the carbon fiber prop shaft that's used on the GT500. And then at the back, we modified the front of the Tremec, so it ends up exactly where the differential pickup was on the GT500. So we use carryover, which then reduces the risk of developing a new prop shaft and all that stuff.
Right.
We're mitigating risk by using as much sort of carryover structure and of the original car.
Am I reading that correct? Is that a 325 section front tire?
Yeah.
That's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
that's got to be as wide as a rear tire on a GT or something.
It is, yeah.
The idea then, really, this is a platform that's designed to be the answer to a GT3 RS or an AMG Black Series.
I think the GT3 RS wouldn't get anywhere close to this. I mean, in the end, it won't, because it just doesn't have the power.
Right.
So we got all the aero, and we got all and we got power on top. So, you know, Black Series presently holds, well, that's not true. The AMG 1, which we, you know, we're very heavily involved with AMG.
Yes.
That holds the production lap record at the Nurburgring.
Yes.
6:35.
Which is fairly swift.
Smoking fast, fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would get there, but we sure would get to the Black Series.
Well, it'll definitely be a sub-7. For sure.
The days of we got under a 7 that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Now, right?
A 7 is well, I don't think easy street.
Easy street.
7 Nord's Lifetime easy street.
Yeah.
But now 6:30 is like like that. So anyway, we're in there. We're going to be in that mix. We'll be right there with the Black Series. Obviously, we're not going to get past the AMG 1. We don't have a Formula 1 engine in it, but it's going to be very, very credible. A very credible time around there.
Run us through the fairly trick suspension, because the rear is push rod, right? It's inboard.
Inboard, yeah.
What was the reason for that?
Okay, well, when you get to that size tire,
yes,
you just started that conversation. Contact patch, and you need a thing to be stiff, because there's so much lateral load gets put into a tire that size that McPherson strut starts to become compromised. We took out the strut and did an upper wishbone. So it's, but it's a double link lower, so it's got a virtual center steering at the bottom because it's got 2 links and an upper, so it's a multi-link front. And then that left us a lot of room, because it used to be McPherson strut, to do something quite trick. Basically what we did on the Ford GT, which was have 2 ride heights and 2 more importantly, 2 spring rates. 2 springs in series are much softer than either one of the springs.
Right.
It's 1 over K1 plus 1 over K2 equals 1 over K total. So easy math, 200 pound per inch springs in series equals an overall spring stiffness of 50 pounds per inch. So half. But if you then we have this collar, hydraulic collar, that when you say I want it in track mode, you hit that button, the hydraulics pulls it down, drops the car 40 mil, and then locks out the lower spring, and it goes to much more than 100 pounds per inch. We get way bigger spring stiffness.
Yes.
And a lower ride height.
Does that contribute? I know, very top line term.
I know what you're going to ask. Yes.
Is there a bit of good ground effect on there, as it were?
This thing's got a unbelievable front underwing.
Wow.
Like, you can get all the area you want up there.
Sure, but you got to balance it with
you got to balance it. So we have this big underwing, and it's got some active flaps in it that balance against the DRS.
So there's some tech in this that you wish you could put on this, right?
This is way more sophisticated than that. This is where you got to go. Yeah, I see the. I mean,
it's so crazy.
You see the resemblance.
You really do. That top mount swan neck wing is very clear, isn't it?
That's a connection between those two.
And as you say, it's mounted in exactly the same place.
Exactly the same place, which is a structurally really solid plate. You want it as stiff as possible.
Is it mounted here just because these 2 components are generating so much load?
Yeah. If I took the back out of this and you look down, there's nowhere where to mount. A lot of guys have it go down like that because they still got production chassis back there. But this production chassis ends about here.
And
it's got a subframe in the back, which if you shunt the car, allows you to quickly fix it rather than replace the whole chassis.
Sure. Okay.
So we were very customer, privateer, team oriented with this car, so we're trying to make it easy to work on.
The design language of them both is very clear, isn't it?
Which was the Jim Farley direct.
Jim's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
What a dude. Obviously, when you were developing this, a huge amount of chassis mods on this car.
Yeah.
Is there much in the way of chassis augmentation on this, or is it much closer to the road car?
It's way closer to the road car.
Right.
So the crash rails, for instance, at the front, come off the firewall to the front bumper and to the rear, exactly the same as that car over there. Because this is it's a derivative, a heavily modified derivative of that car, but it's the easiest way to get to a homologated car is to carry over as much as we have to do all the crashes again.
Do you really?
Yeah,
okay, wow.
Yeah, because it's a new car.
That's a big job.
Even the side, even though the door is the same door, you still got to do, because the weight is different in this, you got to do all the crashes. But our confidence level
Yes.
Our confidence level in passing that is super high because we're using a lot of the same stuff.
Okay. Do you have a ballpark what this will weigh?
I think we got 75 kilo we're trying to get out of it. But it'll be sort of GT 500 type of weight, because that, which is not a light car, but it's got so much power and it's so controlled. Let me answer the question you asked me earlier. So why have we got inboard suspension?
Yes.
The production car has a separate shock absorber and a spring on its own in the bottom of the bottom control arm, and the space between the inside of the tire and the wheelhouse is about like that.
Okay.
And I need like that to do what I'm doing at the front.
Yeah.
So we're all like, how are we going to do it? Even though we got 50 mil wider per side, we took it all up with tire. Like the 50 mil, the 50 millimeter got used up by tire. So I suggested why don't we do, so we got a transaxle in it, saying why don't we do a push rod inboard suspension?
Yeah.
And so you can't see through this, but right about here, there's 2 spring dampers with the 2 springs and the hydraulics and everything in there.
And in the production car, will you be able to see those, or no, that they'll be away?
I can't tell you.
You're not sure.
I'm sure, but I can't tell you.
Okay, cool.
I can't tell you
Stay tuned for that one.
Because
all I'm saying is it'd be a shame to hide it away.
It would be. It would be really a shame. It's so cool. Yeah. This is no longer a trunk lid. We call this a tech panel.
Okay.
And when you take the tech panel off, you have the cooler for the transaxle. And that's what all this exit screening at the back is. You can clear when you take this off, like so if you're at the pub and you take that off, then you can see the suspension. Like, look at my suspension.
Yeah. So will this tire be developed for this car, or is it a Cup 2R?
It's a Cup 2R that's already out there.
The wheels magnesium forged?
No, so the aluminum for the base car, and magnesium. There's a magnesium option, which takes out quite a bit of weight. And the mag wheel option is only really slightly off of carbon. Like we did a carbon option wheel on GT.
Yes.
We looked at it here, and all those guys are making carbon wheels, and their promises 10 years ago of the price going in half. Yeah. That ain't happened. That ain't happened
yet.
No, it's. I would say if anything, it's gone up 20%. So as far as a lightweight wheel option at a kick-ass cost, it would be the mag.
Is this a 6-pop Brembo carbon ceramic?
Carbon ceramic.
That is a substantial disc.
That is also a substantial rotor.
Colossal. Unreal.
Completely fills the wheel. Look at the size of that thing.
Wow.
So I mean,
arch louvers. This is more for bleeding pressure out of the arch, right?
Yeah. There's about 200 pounds of lift generated in the arch pressure, and then when you open up, you completely relieve that. So you end up with the equivalent of putting another 200 pounds of downforce on, but you don't have to put 200 pounds of downforce on, which is really hard to do on the front.
Wow.
So we end up doing this. But I mean, we didn't invent this. If you look at the GT3 RS, it's got a similar thing, but we just went big. You got that, but we got that really. We got it super big. Yeah.
Brilliant. Will it be a flat plane crank? No. So it'll have the full muscle car.
Yeah. It'll sound.
Well,
and it does.
And it does. I'm sure it does. Speaking of sound, titanium exhaust, super short.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I mean, we got to meet. There's a really tight reg for drive-by. We're right there. We've done lots of testing. We're right there. I think we'll be fine with what we got.
Brilliant.
But you've got to meet that.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic getting that insight. I'm really looking forward to seeing the next version of this.
Well, they're running around on the road, but you'd have to look really hard for that. I mean, they're out there and they look exactly like this. They're leaving our shop looking exactly like this, but there's lots of camo and stuff going on. And
brilliant.
They're going to be a lot on closed course tracks and stuff.
Cool. Thanks very much, Larry.
Oh,
Really appreciate that, mate.
Love your stream. Love watching it.
Thanks so much. Thanks, buddy.